All right, family. Black Power. Black Power is the truth hour with General Sarasun Seti. Kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. I'm excited and delighted to be accepting members to not only the Sarasun Seti YouTube page, but the General Seti YouTube page, two dynamic powerhouse institutions on YouTube, giving you nothing but black power, black divinity. I want you to subscribe immediately. I want you to become a member. The link for the memberships right down in the video description is in the chat. All you had to do is just click it. You get a video introduction, rundown on the memberships, what they entail. You see one you like, you should most definitely join. Even if you don't, I appreciate your presence over here at the Sarasun Seti YouTube page, General Seti YouTube page. Continue to support the General. You feel me? Ring the alarm, KingSeti.com, online marketplace, official General Sarasun Seti DVD lectures, t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, African and Kemetic jewelry, holistic tonics and remedies, home decor, accessories for every room in the house. I got something for your family I know you're going to like and love. Get on over there, check out that catalog, get a discount, shop and save and shop. That's right, family. The General got a new website up on Teachable, uploading a lot of dynamic curriculums, powerhouse programs, certificate courses. First one up, 25 Steps to the Redemption of Definitive Black Manhood, designed by the General, strictly for the brothers. It's an amazing, amazing course. You can get a preview just by clicking that link over there in the chat. Also included the Brotherhood of Heru Roundtable live stream, where the brothers meet once a week discussing very important, very powerful, vital information pertinent to our growth and development. Get over there, get a preview, become a brother, become a member today. That's right. Ring the alarm, KingSeti.com. Online. I'm talking about I'm all out off on this one. That's right. Pull the fire alarm, GeneralSeti.com, Seti University, over 2,500 videos, 40 different subjects, all the subjects that you know and love from the General. We got the old Mecca, ancient Egypt, ancient Nubia, Black Woman is God, Freemasonry exposed, hip hop occult, Black Illuminati, Too Raw for YouTube, Making of the White Man, and so much, much more. Not another website nowhere on the planet that could compare or compete. You should become a member today. Everybody know the General popping on Patreon. The popping his page on Patreon by far. We got that file over there, set the first supreme deity of ancient Egypt. I want you to go on over there, get that hot meal. The power of the dark side. Ooh. Don't play no games with them. Don't play no games with them. We got that fire. We got that fire. We ain't playing with them. The power of the dark side. I want you to come over there and get that work, family. Also, Tree Magic of the Kemetic Vikings. You know what it is. Come in and explore the sacred sciences of our people all over the world. That's what we deal with. To all the family out there, donate to the General. I thank you, appreciate you. Those would like to donate, link right in the chat. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels, King Seti, General Seti, Sarasun Seti. Rock that notification bell, get a video, a thumbs up, like it because you love it, share it with your family and friends, then comment. Just don't say nothing stupid because I will ban your ass. Here we go, family. White professor exposes how religion was used against blacks. First motherfucking way it was used, goddamn it, it didn't look like you. And when the God looked like the motherfucker that's putting a whip on your back, you in serious trouble. You see, you up there, you motherfucker whooping your ass, and then oh Lord, look just like the motherfucker. You turn around, you look up at Jesus, and then that motherfucker hit you on your back. Wow, pow. And then you turn around and he looked just like Jesus. You in trouble. You in goddamn trouble. You in the demiurge. You in the matrix, nigga. You deep sleep, nigga. You in a coma. You see what I'm saying? You in a motherfucking coma. You got to wake up, family. You got to come on up out of that real quick. Okay, so we're going to break this down. And see, a lot of time, black people done already broke this shit down. The God is you. Okay? And every motherfucker out here, and I tell, and everybody got, Walter Williams had, where a challenge. I got a challenge. You see, get God on the phone. Everybody say they talk to God. Yeah, I talk to God. Okay, nigga, well, next time you talk to him, call me on the three-way. That's what you do, nigga. And I'm gonna give God, you and God, I'm gonna give y'all a link to this motherfucking live stream. And we gonna come on. I'm gonna be the first nigga in the history of the universe that interview God on YouTube. I don't give a goddamn which one it is. It could be Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, any one of them. You see what I'm saying? The only God is the God in you. Okay, you don't see God there, you ain't got there. You in trouble. You see, if you can go inside and you cannot find God, you in trouble. You know, so that's where if you're in that predicament, then that's why I talk about black divinity. You see, black divinity. You looking everywhere else for God. You know, motherfucker look up and you got that big ass Bible that they give niggas when every time somebody die, they give you one of them big ass Bibles, and y'all niggas go in there, y'all put it on all the little pretty colors and shit, white man and big ass Bible and shit, and got all the pretty little glossy pictures in there. Niggas go in there, put it on, especially one with Jesus knocking on the door and shit. Oh my God. Yeah, that's the one them niggas love, the one with Jesus knocking on the door. Well, nigga, goddamn it, next time Jesus knock on your door, nigga, make sure you get him on FaceTime. Cause I damn want to I damn sure want to see this shit, man. The next time Jesus knock on your door, nigga, get me on FaceTime. I want to holler at him. See if I can get it. You see if I can get an interview. Everybody, that's all niggas do today, interviews. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't goddamn old women got podcasts on this motherfucker now. Everybody got a podcast. Everybody doing grandmamas and granddaddies up there doing interviews and shit. Everybody, man. That's how it is. But yeah, we have to, God and shit, and just before they even get started, so God is man-made, and I say that, before we even, because God never speaks for itself. Everything that is connected to God is a middleman. You understand what I'm saying? It's always a middleman in the game. You can't never talk directly to God. You see what I'm saying? It's always you got to talk to Rev. Could you talk to God for me? That's how motherfuckers be, man. Can you put a prayer up for me, Rev? You understand what I'm saying? You go there and get your number and shit. They get the little lottery number and they put a little holy oil on the number, selling numbers. Motherfuckers selling numbers and shit, lottery numbers. He done blessed it and put a little holy oil on it. Motherfuckers spend all their savings and shit trying to hit the goddamn number. And by the time they hit the number, they say, look what God, motherfucker, you ain't even got 1/5 of the money you spent trying to hit that motherfucker. You talking about look what God did for me. You see? Always a middleman. You ain't gonna never talk directly to God, motherfucker. I tell you what, when you pass that goddamn collection plate around, I'm gonna see who the last motherfucker hands it go in. You know what I'm saying? I want to see who the last motherfucker hands it go in. And when they take that money to the bank, I want to see who name on the bank account. Is it God name on the bank account, or is it Reverend? Is it Pastor Pork Chop? You see what I'm saying? Is it Reverend Chicken Wing Dunner? You see, we want to know. You would order a mashed potatoes and macaroni and cheese on the side. God damn, boy, I tell y'all got to wake up. Y'all got to wake up. So that's clear on that. That this is a racket. This is a motherfucker. That's why they got so many goddamn religions. It's a racket. They got to fill in the blank. You understand? That's why so many sound so, they got a feeling. They got to, man, I need to make me a motherfucking book. A fill in the blank religion. They all got the same shit. You understand what I'm saying? How to love God and shit. All you had to do is put the name. I'm going to leave that blank. Put the name of your God on that motherfucker. You understand? You get 12 disciples too, nigga. I'm going to give you, and you can put the name of your 12 disciples in there. You understand what I'm saying? You can call what you want to call it. I'm going to leave the shit blank that you got to fill in, and then you can have your own goddamn religion. I'm going to have a fill in the blank religion book. You see what I'm saying? Then you can take it down there and get it copyrighted and shit and all that, and then you can go down there and start your own religion. Yeah. That's what we doing today. All right, family, let's get this Neanderthal in here. He gonna explain to you how his people. Yeah,
I've heard a lot on this app when people are discussing Christianity's connection to racism and intolerance is there's no hate like Christian love. And if we look at the history of European colonization and their interactions with indigenous people, we can add another phrase. There's no violence like Christian peace. Now, I want to preface this video by saying that
and I want to preface this video right now that we don't need this Neanderthal to tell us none of this, but since we want to hear from the horse's mouth, that's all. We don't need, and some motherfuckers say, as soon as you put the Neanderthal, man, that's John the Baptist. They say, oh, he must be telling the truth. Nigga can come in here with all the facts and shit and all of that. One Neanderthal, he done stole and went around there, watched the nigga video. He come and regurgitate everything the nigga say. But, y'all are, man, he look like John the Baptist. That nigga look like, that cracker look like Enoch, man. He must be telling he must be telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? That's how y'all niggas here. Y'all got the toasters. Yeah, y'all got the toasters. This is Saint Andrew. Yeah, this is Saint Andrew or something. Yeah. So y'all, that's how y'all do when y'all see these Neanderthals. Y'all get to listening and shit.
In no way am I attacking modern day Christians. I simply want to point out how Christianity has been used and abused throughout history. Even though I'm not a Christian, I've read the Bible and I love the message of Jesus. In fact, I think if more people had actually followed his teachings throughout history, then the world would be a better place. But the truth is, too often Christians did not act Christ-like. They acted like devils trying to create hell on earth. One of the greatest ironies and tragedies.
Oh, motherfucker, you copped out when you talking about you ain't talking about Christians today. What the fuck is you talking about, Neanderthal? You know good and goddamn well the Christian of today is no different than the Christian of yesterday. There ain't no goddamn different. Goddamn Vladimir Putin say he a Christian. He over there bombing the shit out of Ukraine. It ain't gonna be a building left standing over in that motherfucker in another 30 days. But he's a good Christian. It's a whole lot. So why he say he ain't talking about Christians of the day? Yeah, that's a cop out.
In history is that a religion that was supposed to be built on love, forgiveness, and peace has been responsible for aiding in some of the greatest crimes in human history, including slavery, imperialism, war, and the extermination of indigenous peoples. From the very beginning of European colonization, Christianity played a leading role in justifying the violent theft of indigenous land. After Columbus made his first voyage to the Americas in 1492, the following year, Pope Alexander issued the Doctrine of Discovery, which gave Spain exclusive ownership rights over the lands that Columbus discovered. The Pope declared that any land not inhabited by Christians was available to be discovered, claimed, and exploited by Christian rulers. He said that barbarous nations must be overthrown and brought to the faith. Therefore, the Pope was giving away...
What's that? What's that? Concepts. Yeah, 11 concepts. He said BC before Columbus. No, BC is before the cracker. You got that one. Before BC, before the cracker. You see, that's what that one stand for.
Land that he had never been to and was already occupied by tens of millions of people. But since they weren't Christians, the Pope believed that they had no right to claim any land as their own. After Columbus made his voyages to the Americas in the 1490s, wave after wave of Spanish conquerors called conquistadors came to this new world to find their fortune and glory. By 1513, all Spanish conquistadors were mandated to read out a document to any indigenous people they proposed to conquer and enslave. The document required indigenous people to acknowledge the church as the ruler and superior of the whole world, and said that if they converted to Christianity, we shall receive you in all love and charity. However, if they refused to convert, these conquerors said, I certify that with God's help, I will advance powerfully against you and make war on you wherever and however I am able, and will subject you to the control and obedience of the church and of their majesties, and take your women and children to be slaves. And as such, I will sell and dispose of them as their majesties may order, and I will take your possessions and do all the harm and damage that I can. Here's a drawing from that time period showing how the Spanish punished native converts who abandoned Christianity. I guess they forgot that part where Jesus said, love your enemies and do unto others as you would have them do unto you. When the Dominican friar Bartolomé de las Casas wrote a book in 1542 about the violence he'd seen the Spanish inflict on the indigenous people in the Americas, he made sure to emphasize that these were Christians who were acting like devils. He wrote that,
Right.
at a conservative estimate, the despotic and diabolical behavior of the Christians has, over the last 40 years, led to the unjust and totally unwarranted deaths of more than 12 million souls, women and children among them. The reason the Christians have murdered on such a vast scale anyone and everyone in their way is purely and simply greed. They have set out to line their pockets with gold and to amass private fortunes as quickly as possible. He then chronicles the horrors that the Spanish brought to the indigenous people of Puerto Rico, Jamaica, Cuba, and Haiti. He describes how on one occasion, a troop of soldiers on a pillaging expedition happened upon a mountain region where a large number of natives had sought refuge.
Reality is, yeah, they Christian, but they Catholics. You see what I'm saying? They Catholics, but they all the same. But we want to be specific when we get ready to get our paper. That Catholic Church is very instrumental because while they was kicking, they was committing genocide on black people. You understand? They was putting the boot off in them Protestants' ass too. So they don't give a fuck about them motherfuckers neither. So they was putting the boot on. And anybody that was in their motherfucking way, they intended to rule everybody. So, the conquistadors, them is goddamn Catholics. So we want to be direct when we get ready to put our finger on these motherfuckers. We need to be direct. You feel me?
By surprise, they carried off 70 or 80 women and young girls. The soldiers stuck their swords into the guts of the women and the young girls, massacring every single one of them. The native men, beside themselves with grief and tearing at their own flesh, shouted after them, saying, "O wicked men, O cruel Christians." Las Casas said that the Spanish were so harsh and so brutal that nothing is more odious nor more terrifying to the indigenous people than the name Christian. He argued that these so-called Christians only deserve to be called demons and devils. When the Spanish began colonizing California, they set up a series of Christian missions, which were supposed to be places to promote Christianity among the native populations. However, in reality, they turned out to be brutal and oppressive prisons of torture and misery. The missionaries wanted people to tend the land, so they captured indigenous people, baptized them, and then held them as captive laborers for the rest of their lives. If any indigenous person tried to run away, they were hunted down and brought back to what was essentially slavery. Indigenous people like the Tongva were constantly rebelling against these missions all throughout the 1700s, showing that they had no desire to be exploited for their labor or Christianized. When white Americans began to invade California in the 1800s, up to 16,000 Native Americans died.
Ain't that the truth? Behold, and ain't that the truth? They love that goddamn Catholicism. Man, it's like anywhere you go down there, the motherfucker, the church, the Catholic Church is the center of the town. Anywhere you go, the goddamn Catholic Church is the center of the town. That's where in the square, damn near in front of the goddamn Catholic Church. That's where they go. That's where the square at. It'll be in front of the church. Man, please. Let's finish this.
Died in what scholars appropriately call a genocide. But this was just one small part of a wider genocide that took the lives of millions. European colonization of the Americas was one of the deadliest and most destructive actions in human history. From 1492 to 1600, European colonization caused the deaths of 56 million indigenous people who died from either violence or disease. Over this century of suffering, the indigenous population of the Americas was reduced by 90%.
Dang.
So many people died that it actually had an impact on the climate of planet Earth. Researchers have found that this large-scale depopulation resulted in vast areas of agricultural land being left untended, allowing the land to become overgrown with trees and other new vegetation. And this regrowth soaked up enough carbon dioxide from the atmosphere to actually cool the planet. Europeans and Americans had no problem with this massive death toll because they felt that every indigenous person that died from violence or disease was an act of God. When French invaders began taking over indigenous land in North America and spreading deadly diseases that wiped out entire native communities, one French settler wrote, "It appears visibly that God wishes that they yield their place to new peoples." When the English Puritan John Winthrop arrived in New England in 1630, he said, "The natives, they are all dead of smallpox. The Lord hath cleared our title to what we possess." In his journal, the New England governor William Bradford wrote, "The plague is from the good hand of God, which favored our beginnings by sweeping away great multitudes of the natives that he might make room for us. The epidemic left the land without any people to disturb our free and peaceable possession thereof, from which we may justly conclude that God made the way to effect his work." When Americans began invading the West, they used Christianity to justify their right to take indigenous land. In 1845, the writer John O'Sullivan coined the phrase manifest destiny to describe the idea that God wanted white Americans to take control over indigenous territory. He said that Americans were on a divine mission to possess the whole of the continent, which Providence has given for the development of the great experiment of liberty. To justify stealing indigenous land, all Americans had to do was turn to their Bible, which told them, "And God blessed them, and God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth, and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moves upon the earth." In 1846, the Senator Thomas Hart Benton explained, "It would seem that the white race had alone received the divine commandment to subdue and replenish the earth, and the indigenous peoples had no right to the land of the Americas, because the land had been created for use by the white races according to the intentions of the Creator." Throughout history, there has rarely been anything more terrifying than someone claiming to be doing God's work and obeying God's commands, because too often God has been used to justify the worst atrocities imaginable. And too often it's been Christianity that's been used to condone these crimes. Too often we realize that there's no hate like Christian love, and there's no violence like Christian peace.
Yeah. And then as soon as that shit go off, somebody bust his head for sitting up there reading it. Yeah, thank you for the information. We already knew that. Boop. You feel me? Go on in, man. Yeah. So, but they know. They get it. they get excitement off of being able to read shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they know. You understand what I'm saying? They act stupid and shit. But, them motherfuckers know what time it is. And so we ain't put him up there like we don't know. We know greater than that. Because they ain't said nothing about, black people who is the primordials of the planet Earth. I don't got to say no more when I say that. You see what I'm saying? We the primordials. You sitting up here talking about the Indian and all of that and shit and this, that, and the third. Ain't saying nothing about the primordials. Y'all don't want to talk about that because that's going to take it to a whole nother level. You understand what I'm saying? That's going to take it to a whole nother level that they don't want to deal with. And so, but for those out there that, y'all got the toasters and maybe you need a Neanderthal to help guide you out of the wilderness. Yeah, some of y'all might need a Neanderthal to guide you up out of the wilderness and shit, or get you halfway out. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna believe nothing a black person say, because you ain't connected. You ain't got no spark, and so that's what you do. But I put that up there just for family, to take it in and dissect it, and we already know that. They think they teaching us, but we way past that shit. I mean, goddamn, I used to hear tapes of Dr. Ben breaking that shit down a million times more deeper than that. And that was goddamn, the damn tape was back in the damn 70s, early 70s. You feel what I'm saying? But anyway, family, here we go. We got one last one. Them don't trust a Christian, a Muslim, a Jew, don't none of them. If they ass is Neanderthal, whatever religion they belong to, you better, nigga, you better run and hide or get your motherfucking your heat and goddamn protect your street. You feel what I'm saying? This is General Cyrus said he's saying, hey, arm yourself with knowledge. Get on over there to Patreon, family. We got that file over there. Subscribe. Arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. We got one more. We're going to get back on Donald Trump. Man, this shit right here is going to blow your mind. So make sure you back in here in about 1 minute. All right. Black Power.